Hello Fantasy Faithfuls, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 19 of CSD Head-to-Head. Today I have two running backs who have come to life over the last few weeks in Lamar Miller and Aaron Jones.
Flanking Osweiler, send him out into the pattern. Osweiler throws it to him, and Miller gets corralled but stays on his feet, and it's Miller! Touchdown!
Starting off, we're looking at Miller's rushing and receiving breakdown. The play calling in Houston mostly leads Miller up the A, B, and C gaps. In other words, he gets to carry the ball first up the gut, second outside the guards, and lastly outside the tackles. This means that he rarely takes the ball outside the tight ends, which is also a trend of the team being last in the league in 12 personnel formation, with two tight ends on the field. This can be viewed in his yards per carry. Mainly, lanes that see limited amount of carries usually have pretty decent yards per carry numbers, and this is the case with Miller. His best lane with play calling and productivity is the B gap to the right, where he runs 17% of all his carries and gain 4.4 yards. If this is a lane that the Broncos struggle to defend, he's golden. In the receiving aspect of his game, we have a huge disparity, with the right side of the field being extremely dominant. This is very strange, as Watson tends to favor the left side of the field with his shorter passes. As I said with the running lanes, if you see limited action in a lane, you will likely have a good number there. This is somewhat true for passing as well, but for his catch rate. We see that the right side of the field is where he's mostly targeted, and also where he struggles to catch passes, leading to a conclusion that he struggles to catch the ball in general. Miller's touchdown rate since joining the Houston Texans has been 3.3%, which is actually impacted mostly by him scoring touchdowns on the ground. Back to his receiving, he is decent in yards per catch with 7.5, 8.4, and 8. This is not good or bad, this is just average for a running back.
Little delay and big running room. And headed to the end zone is Aaron Jones.
Now let's take a look at Aaron Jones' rushing and receiving. Jones is somewhat of the opposite of Miller when it comes to carries. The play calling in Green Bay takes him far more times outside the tight ends on either side, but with the left being the dominant side. With 22% of all his runs coming outside the left end and 28% in the A gap is critical. These lanes are productive with yards for him to be successful against the Patriots. We can see that by himself, he is extremely productive in these lanes, with 6.8 yards per carry outside the left tight end and 6.1 in the A gap. These are some amazing yards per carry numbers, with his worst lane being a lane that only sees 7% of his carries. And lastly, his second and third most productive lanes combine for 50%. His receiving though is even weirder than Miller's, with almost no passes over the middle. And I will soon show you why this is a good thing. Otherwise, seeing the outside zones dominate is usual for running backs, just not this much. With his catching of the ball, we now see why he probably should not be targeted over the middle too much. Sure, his sample size is very small here, but 0% is not good. More, 64 and 62 is not too good either. His touchdown rate since entering the league is 3.9% and relies more on his rushing, as he has only scored one receiving touchdown. Looking at his yards per catch, I think it is safe to say that Aaron Jones is not a pass-catching running back. Please stop throwing him the ball. He is so far below the league average that I can't even see it no more.
Lamar Miller, the lone back. Lamar Miller trying to get outside. Touchdown, Houston!
Now let's have a look at how they perform in different situations. Both these running backs actually score more points when their teams are playing on the road. Not that it is uncommon for running backs, and the difference is only minimal. Miller scores way more points when the Texans are playing outdoors, while Jones prefers playing domes. This is why their home numbers are below, because both team stadiums don't match their fantasy production. Both score more against above 500 record teams, and Miller's best situation is playing on the road versus an above 500 record team with an outdoor stadium, while Jones' best situation is playing on the road versus an above 500 record team with an outdoor stadium.
Jones. Touchdown, Packers!
Time to look a little closer at the two defenses they will face in the Denver Broncos and the New England Patriots. The Broncos is not the greatest of fits for Miller. In his 4 most used running lanes, only one of them is a lane where the Broncos have issues. In the other 3, they have been very good in protection. The Patriots is the best fit I've seen for a running back so far this season. They fit Jones so well that I had to give the left end 2+ signs. Not only that, but the other 3 of his best running lanes are the lanes the Patriots defend the worst. However, the Broncos have given up more points to running backs on average, which impacts the situation somewhat. This is attributed to them seeing more runs against them with 18 runs by opposing RB1s compared to the Patriots' 13 runs by running back 1 on average. New for this week is the schedule analysis, where Miller has a bye week coming up and are facing a group of teams that combined make up for the 10th most difficult schedule for running backs. Jones has a much easier schedule and 1 more game to play compared to Miller. If you take away week 17, his schedule is actually even better. But for now, he has the 5th best schedule for running backs in the entire NFL. Comparing the numbers, Miller wins the 1-game ceiling with 15.4 against Jones's 13.4. Miller also takes home the 1-game floor with 5.8 points versus 4 for Jones, which is a pretty big deal. The risk of them not reaching their projection this week is completely even at 63% for both of them. The week 9 score projection has to be taken into account when looking at the risk, and Miller gets another win with 11.8 points versus 9.3. But before making a decision, I want to look at the pros and cons to get a clear picture. Starting with Miller's pros and cons, we see that he has projected for more carries versus a worse run defense and high projections in general, but he doesn't fit against the run defense in Denver as well as Jones does against New England, which is his greatest pro because he has a great fit against them. Has strong rushing numbers and a positive schedule moving forward, but his projection for this week is a little lower, and that is why, after considering all the factors, for week 9, Lamar Miller is my pick. However, for the rest of the season after week 9, my pick will be Aaron Jones due to him having an easier schedule and the fact that his yards per carry in his most rushed lanes are superior to Miller's. For week 9, Miller wins out even with not matching with the Broncos too well. He is predicted for more touches versus a team that give up more points to running backs and have better numbers going into just this game. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more weekly content. And as always, the spreadsheets are dark and full of terror. Hello Fantasy Faithful, I hope you enjoyed that video. Don't forget to check out more of them right here and here. In case you haven't done so already, be sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss a beat.